Hi, this is Ken Urban for CSC 125. We have our linked list controller class, and here's the header for it. And what we want to do is we want to put in two functions. They're both void, and then I'm going to have insert at front and insert at back. Okay. So we can add stuff to the front of the list and to the back of the list. And they both take a string as their only parameter, right? So I have some sort of list where the order is maintained. I can say, okay, this item goes to the front of the list, or this item goes to the back of the list, and this item goes to the back of the list, this item goes to the front of the list. So we can insert stuff at the front and the back, and then we'll have to finish off our stream insertion operator to make sure that it's all together. Now these are functions that are going to require us to put enough code in our CPP file. We can't do these inline. So I put them in there. Notice my indenting is like way off. Rather than doing it by hand, we're going to go to plugin, source code format. There we go. So I have them in there. Let's just test it a little bit. We do ll dot insert at back the end. Then ll insert at front the middle. Okay, just to start though, we'll need to test it more thoroughly than that, but we're going to put the end at the back, and then put the middle in front of that, and then in front of that, we're going to put the beginning. But so just as a test to make sure I got all my pieces together, let's see what happens. Okay, we compile. We don't work, but we compile. So I have all the pieces together. Now, insert at front. All right, the first thing we need to do is check to see if the list is empty. If empty, right? This is inside the linked list class, so empty calls the empty function on the current string. So if it's empty, actually I think I want to create a new node and then store it. But actually I realize I need to create a new node anyway. So I'm going to create a new node called temp, which is let's see how. Okay, yeah. Okay. If it's empty, I'm going to create a node called temp. Temp. The data is going to be whatever string we came along here, and there's nothing after it, so I'm going to set equal to null, and then I'm going to say my head equals my tail equals that's what I need to do. New node. Sorry. I can create a node pointer called temp, allocate a new node, right? The allocate returns the pointer to it, and then I'm going to set that as, so this goes out into memory, creates that new node, which has nothing following it, and I'm going to say that my head and my tail are equal to that temporary thing. Fix my formatting. Now, if it's not empty, otherwise, what do I got to do? Well, I need to I'm only going to change the head. So I need to create again a new node. It's going to have S, but instead of this is going at the front. So what comes after this one will be what the old beginning was, and then plus 10. All right, now I've sort of used this temporary variable to sort of make it a little more visible, but it's not strictly necessary, and I'll change it a little later on to show that. But well, let's just see if we compile right now if I have any syntax errors. That's right, that's why I was giving me problems. It's called isEmpty. There we go. Yeah, I mean, we have no idea if it works or not, but we kind of have it in there based on principles. Now, to insert it at the back, similar ideas that if it's empty, same thing, right? It doesn't matter if I insert it at the front or the back if it's empty. But inserting it at the back is different. Right? We're going to have to change the tail here at some point. But anyway, we're going to create a new node. This new node is going to be the new last item. So it's going to have a null at the end. And then we need to hook the end of the list into it. So I got to go to the end. Oops, couldn't see that. I'm going to put in an arrow. Right, and so I'm going to go to the old end of the list. I'm going to set the next of the old end of the list to be the current node. Right, I wrote set next, which lets me set it. So now the old end, which used to have a null at the end, has a pointer to the node I just built. And one last piece. I need to set the new end, the tail, to be equal to that node that I just created. Right, so those are the inserted front and inserted back. I still need to finish off my printing here for when it's not empty. PTR is just a good variable for a generic pointer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pointer, and I'm going to start off at the beginning. And then I'm going to keep going while that pointer isn't null. And what I'm going to do is, if the pointer isn't null at this point, I'm going to print out where that pointer points. Right? So I'm going to follow that pointer. So if I follow this pointer, it's going to end up at a node. So I'm going to follow this pointer to the node, print out what's at that node, and then I'm going to say, okay, move the pointer, right? So it's pointing at something. Then I'm going to say, okay, take that pointer and set it equal to whatever the next one is supposed to be. So go into wherever I'm at, figure out where the next one is, store it back in pointer. And then this is going to keep looping around. Eventually, when I get to the last one on the list, right, remember that the check happens here at the end. Right? When I get to the last one on the list, it's going to get null. I'm going to put it in here, check it, it's going to be equal to null, and then down here, and I'm done. So I'll put a done down there. Right? This is all for debugging, so I can do that sort of thing. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not a member function. But it's a friend, so I can access the private data. So I need to start it at the head of the linked list. I was thinking it was a member function. Okay. Well, it all compiled. Didn't do anything because out here in main, I didn't print it after I did all that stuff. So now, let's print it and see what happens. Alright, so this node contains the beginning. Next node is A8. A8 contains the middle. Next node is 78. 78 contains the end. And then next node is at 0, which means it's the end of the list. Right? So the list is the beginning, the middle, the end, which is what we thought about. Let's put in the first end and the second end, just to test and the insert at the back twice, right? So the first end, and then after the first end comes the second end, and then insert at the front. So right now it's first end, second end, then we have the middle and the beginning. So we were actually testing both halves of that function. Hoping it all works. And let's see, the beginning, the middle, the first end, the second end, and if we look at the numbers, they're all connected correctly, right? So here's inserting into a linked list. Bye.